Hello and welcome to Kittick Farms. Today we're going to be kicking off something a little bit different on the channel, and I'm super excited for it. If you're new to the channel, you might not know that normally I like to specialize in North American style farming and tend to run somewhat larger farms. However, today we're going to be doing something completely different. We're going to be playing on Campaign of France. This is a tiny little map by Black Sheep Modding. So tiny, in fact, that the mini-map is almost able to hold the entire map. Why am I playing on a European map, especially one so small? Well, with FS22 right around the corner, there are a handful of achievements that I've been meaning to knock out here for quite some time. Primarily, I have 2 achievements for doing missions in Farm Sim. I need to do 100 missions in Farming Simulator. If I'm going to have a chance of knocking out 100 missions in the next 30 days in a series, we're going to need small fields. Also, I've been wanting to try out the electric tractor here for a long time, and this map has some of the smallest fields I've ever seen in Farm Sim, and so I thought this would be a perfect way to try out a bunch of little equipment that we've never gotten a chance to play with and knock out a bunch of missions. Additionally, I need to get the achievements for chickens and sheep. So we'll be running a small chicken and sheep farm here on Campaign of France. The extremely small map size is going to allow us to really focus in on those achievements and knock things out very quickly. As a result, we will not be running seasons on this map. That will allow us to progress the pace of this series much more quickly, and with everything being much more contained on this map, I'll be able to put episodes out much quicker here, which should allow me to post content more consistently. Also, you'll want to stick around to the end of the episode for an overview of the mods I'm using in this series, and as always, the bloopers. Hopefully, you have as much fun watching the series as I've had starting to put it together. And so, without further ado, let's jump on into things. Now, with all that, we don't want to make our lives too easy. And so we're going to be starting out on the start from scratch difficulty, which gives us no land and $500,000. We're not going to be taking out any loans in this series as well. With our limited funds here, the first thing we're going to do is buy our home farm for $184,000. Now, as I've said, we've got 4 main achievements on top of the 2 contracting ones. We have a sheep pen over here, so we will be doing sheep. And this map had a small bug that I had to fix in that this feed trigger was lowered below the ground a little bit, and you weren't able to dump loose grass into this point. And so I did fix that. If you're playing on console, you're going to need to use bales to dump into this trigger, is my understanding. We also have a cow pen on this farm. We're not going to use that, so let's go ahead and jump into our garage. And as Black Sheep Modding often does, all of their stuff on the farms is able to be sold here. So we're going to be able to get rid of that cow barn here and gain a big chunk of our farmyard back here, which is nice because we're going to be able to put down a chicken coop in this area and then reclaim some of this ground as an additional field, which if you look at the size of this yard, it's a pretty big yard, and these fields are pretty small as a rule of thumb on this map. So we're going to be able to pick up an additional field here in the back of our farm. So let's go ahead and get a chicken coop placed. Now, since we are trying to breed a lot of chickens, we're going to want a lot of chickens. So we're going to get the large chicken coop here. And of course, we're going to have just a little bit of difficulty placing it without place anywhere or mods like that. It does get to be a little finicky. We've got plenty of spot. I could place it back here. I'd like to get it up closer to the yard as possible. Oh, we can actually get it up here. We're going to lose a little bit of our grass, it looks like, here if I do this, but that's okay. I'd rather have it crowd forward here towards the rest of the yard than be way back there. So we'll do something like that. And it does blow away my bushes here on the edge of the road. That's okay. It looks like I raised the terrain on the road a little bit, which is fine because that road doesn't go anywhere. And so I'm just going to grab our smoothing tool and make sure that this is all kind of smoothed out. There's a little bit of a ridge here that I'm just helping to smooth out with the landscaping tools here, so that as we're moving around this thing, there's not a giant lump there. We are gonna use up some of these bushes. We'll probably put a little driveway right there, I'm thinking. So get this all smoothed out here, looking good, and then we will switch into paint mode here and just extend this driveway a bit. We'll add a small driveway over on this side. And then all this area back here, we're gonna turn into grass for the time being. We're gonna plow this up really soon here with the plow, but as long as we're back here, we might as well have it look somewhat appropriate. All right, so with our chicken coop placed, let's go ahead and get all of the equipment for our farm set up here. All right, we've got the first wave of equipment here. So, of course, our electric tractor is the centerpiece here. We've got a mower, a windrower, a loading wagon for that grass, a water trailer, a fertilizer spreader, a 1.2 meter plow. Oh yeah, we're gonna be knocking out the acres with that. A 3-meter cultivator because it's farm sim, and we've got a little Pottinger seeder as well that we should be able to pull. So our tractor's only 68 horse. Most of this equipment ranges somewhere in the 60 to 90 horsepower range. So hopefully this is gonna work out. We still got $125,000 to go, but we do have a few things that we still need to purchase yet. But we ran out of space, so let's go ahead and get as much of this moved out of the way as possible. All right, we've got our last batch of equipment here. We picked up a small flatbed trailer here so that we've got something to haul the bales with here that we're gonna need, or the pallets I should say, not bales of wool from the sheep, since that is going to be one of our primary profits on the farm here. And then we also picked up this awesome 3-point forklift that we're gonna be able to use to load up said bales. And this pull behind harvester. Now this pull behind harvester is one of the few mods that I'm using that is not available on console, unfortunately. But it was the only thing I could find that it was on the mod hub that would allow me to harvest while staying all electric in this series. So we're gonna see how that works out for us, but needless to say, it's still on the mod hub, and if you're on console, you're gonna have to just find your own way to do the harvesting, I think. So we'll put that in there, and I'm gonna drop this weight off as well. We've got enough implements that we're a little bit too small for right now, that having a weight on the farm is definitely gonna come in handy here. So let's get this harvester pulled over to the shed and get our animals set up. So with all the equipment out of the way, it's time to get going on animals. We've got $100,000 left to spend to get this farm up and running, and all of that is gonna go into the animals here. Now, if we look at the map real quick, we do start with field 1, and we've got this grass area back here behind the chicken coop. Field 1 happens to be already in what I believe is wheat. So we're gonna have chicken feed. It looks ready to harvest, so I don't have to worry about buying any feed for the chickens. And then we'll be able to put a grass field in back here behind the chicken coop. So since we're not running seasons, we don't have to worry about our animals dying. They just won't be very productive. So we're gonna go ahead and start with a fair amount of chickens here. I don't think we actually need a rooster here, but we're gonna buy a rooster just for the fun of it. And we're gonna buy a good amount of chickens here. We're gonna go for probably $2,000 worth of chickens to get started. we have to pay a small fee to get them delivered, but that's okay. We've got 40 chickens here in the pen. We'll get them topped up with some food here in just a little bit. And then over here on the sheep side of things, let's go ahead and see what this is going to take. Since we are playing on Black Sheep Modding's map, let's go ahead and get some black sheep going here. Oh my, the fee here for sheep is actually quite steep. I don't know if I want to pay that much money for delivery. Let's take a quick look and see what it would cost to get an animal trailer. 24,000 is a lot to buy. Since we're not going to be selling a lot of them right now, let's just lease an animal trailer for the time being. $1,000, we were going to spend more than that just to get the handful of animals there. So we'll lease this thing and we'll go buy our sheep the old-fashioned way. So let's go ahead and get this party started. We'll get to take a little bit of a look at the map here as we go out and about. So as I have mentioned, this map is the smallest map that I've seen in Farm Sim to date. You can see from our mini map down here that I'm seeing all of field 11 and 17 there in the corner, and I've only got about half of the map on. The mini map is cutting off right here, but showing a lot of this. If I was in the center of the map, I think this entire map would show up on our mini map. So we need to make our way over here to the animal dealer. So I'm gonna go ahead and tag that to make it a little bit easier to navigate these roads. We'll hang a left here and go around the outside of the map this way. So you can see we're right on the edge of a small town here, which is kind of cool. And the other nice thing about driving this smaller equipment is we're going to fit on the roads. If I had a full-size tractor on this road, I think we'd have a hard time getting around the traffic and such. So this is going to work out perfectly. And I absolutely love the small countryside field here. The fields are absolutely tiny, but I don't know, somehow it still feels like it's not that small of a map. When you scale down the equipment that you're using, I guess it all kind of comes together. And man, we're having a hard time getting up this hill with the little electric tractor here. We'll see if we can make this corner, and oh my goodness, there's a cement truck. Oh, we made it past. Nice. Not so much the car, though. Yeah, he's honking at me. Oh my goodness. We're barely fitting. This is, yeah. I know. Everybody's angry. So this was apparently a bad idea and a one-way road. We're gonna let these cars go past and try and get down this bridge before somebody else comes. All right, for the sake of sanity, we have temporarily disabled the traffic so that we can get down this narrow road here. In the future, we'll know that this is a one-way road that goes the other way. We've got a very cool set of rolling hills here that really breaks up this small map. Makes it feel a lot bigger than it is. And I'm just looking around here. I think I could probably go down that path to get to the animal dealer. We're gonna go down this way though and just swing through this other little town. For a map this small, to have two little towns is pretty cool as well. And these roads are a mite wider. We've got a downtown area there, it looks like. A little bit of construction here. And it looks like this is our sell point. These big semis parked in there. Good luck getting those in and out. We're gonna back into this sell point, I think. I'm certain there's not enough room to turn around in that yard. Although there are 2 points there. I'm guessing that other one is probably the bale point. And just looking here at the list, we're in the right spot. So let's go ahead and buy as many sheep as this trailer will hold. Looks like 10 is the magic number. So we'll probably need to make a couple trips at this. I am going to pull over here, though. I want to turn traffic back on. I really like the feel of traffic on the map, so I want to see where we see some cars, but we're definitely going to be taking this wider road here as we head back up to the farm, which is in the upper right-hand corner of the map. So this will give us a chance to look at the left-hand side here just a little bit. Looks like we've got a sell point and some fill points over here. That's probably the water tank there, which will be good. I love the signs telling me how wide the road is, 4.2 meters. Or I guess that's probably the height under the bridge there, 4.2 meters. So we should be good to go. And yeah, this side is a lot wider. We've got a wood chip sell point there if you wanted to do some logging on this small map. Looks like a biogas plant here. So very nice. This map is very well done. The traffic moves about on it fairly naturally, so I'm impressed for such a small map. There's a lot of little fields and a lot of great scenery. So we're gonna turn in this first path here. I think this goes straight into our farmyard here. Yep, looking good. And we should be able to circle right around here. Looks like this is our workshop point. So we've got a workshop handy. And I should be able to circle right in and back these into the sheep pen here. Just like that. So now if we bring up the animal menu, we've got 40 chickens in here that need some wheat or barley. And we've got 10 sheep here that are going to need some grass, hay, and water, apparently. So we should probably get working on that. I'm going to go ahead and park this trailer. It is a lease, so we're going to need to get some more sheep here in a moment. But before we do that, I want to get at least one of our 2 sets of animals working here before things go by too much. And that's going to let us hopefully start seeing some profits and some money here. I do want to spend down the rest of this money on more animals in a moment, but chickens are going to be the easiest to get going here, I think. So we're going to start off with this harvester here, and we're going to see if we can manage to follow along the outside here. This thing needs some grease or something. It's making some noise, but let's see if we can sneak around the outside of this field and take off a headland pass. I need to make sure we're not... I don't want a straw swath. I don't know if I can even turn that off, though. It does not look like I have the ability to turn off the straw swathing. Well, we're not putting out enough straw in the back to really bother with trying to bale it up. Not that I could run a baler with this little thing anyway, so we'll have to deal with that just by tilling it under probably. But I'm not sure we're gonna have enough room to run alongside the end of this fence up here. So in the future, we might need to pick a little bit better of a field to put wheat in, or just not quite put it this close to the fence. We're driving through all kinds of weeds up here. That's all right. We'll figure this out. We're gonna lose a little bit of yield here driving around this outside edge. But in general, I'm actually surprised at how well this little harvester is working. Other than a few of those trees up there on the other end, we actually seem to have enough room to get around here. Now, one of the things with the way our trailer is currently set up is it's set up for hauling the pallets. We might have to switch that little trailer over between grain mode and pallet mode, depending on what we're doing on the farm. We do have the ability to do that. And we are running with precision farming here, so we're gonna play around with that. We'll have to pick up a scout to actually scan our fields. We're not gonna cheat this time. We're starting to fill up this harvester here. So I think what we'll do is, as we get to the end of the row here, we're going to actually take this thing right over and dump it directly into the chicken pen and see how much wheat we're gonna be able to get into the pen directly. Maybe we won't even need a trailer to get things going here. If we put our pipe out here, I think the feed trigger is right over here. I don't think chickens actually need any water. There we go. We're filling up the pen pretty quick here. If we just take a quick look at the menu, you can see wheat and barley. We're filling it up. We might actually be able to put some more in here. So that's both encouraging and a little bit telling of just how much feed we're probably going to need for these chickens. So I'm not sure we're going to have enough here in this field to keep them going for a long time. We are going to have to replant some wheat for sure. And so that's something we're going to have to think about here as we get going, is where exactly we're going to be running things for our farm. And then we also have to figure out what kind of contracts we're going to be able to do on this map. We may actually use the recommended equipment for contracts if it's going to be faster to knock out than using our own equipment. Give us a little bit of variety as we do some of the stuff on this map. All right, so we're on the last few rows here of this wheat. We've managed to knock it out pretty quick. I'm hoping the rest of it is going to fit into the harvester here and that we're going to be able to, for lack of a better idea, just store it in the harvester. Actually, I think we've got bins, come to think of it. We could probably store it in this shed on the other side of here. I think we've got some bin storage, so we're going to do that. I thought it'd be fun to try and in-cab with this thing just a little bit. Visibility's not too shabby. And I do like the squeaky, rusty noises from this thing, although I have to say, after hearing this thing squeak like it is every time we pick it up and put it down, I'd probably get out there with the grease gun. But it's cool. We're using some smaller equipment for a change. This is a huge change of pace from our normal series on the channel. And so I know this is going to be a little bit different and maybe not as interesting to some of you. However, I'm having a ton of fun with this. So it's a great way to kind of fill in some of the gaps here and close out FS19 with a little bit something different here to shake things up on the channel. Right now, we've done everything necessary for the chickens, And so we're just waiting for enough time to pass to see what our productivity rate is going to be. And this is our silo here that I was talking about. I'm not sure we're going to be able to dump straight into that from the harvester here, though. You can see we're 91% full, though, with the harvester. I'm also unable to fold it up into road mode while there's wheat inside of it. So we are going to need to get that emptied out here at some point. So we'll likely switch our little trailer back over to a grain trailer real quick. And the thing I like about this trailer is it has the removable sides. So when we need to haul the wool up to market, we're going to be able to do that. And right now, when we're going to need some sides and a little bit of storage capacity, we can toss those sides right back onto this trailer. And we'll go ahead and get this thing unloaded. Good old farm sim doesn't require the machine to be hooked up to a tractor to unload. And just like that, we're all done with harvest. So let's go ahead and just toss this thing back in the shed real quick here. And we'll make sure that that silo is going to work and we can get all of this wheat out of our little trailer here. I'm also just kind of curious because I wasn't paying attention when we were hooked up to the harvester how much wheat we've got in here. We've got a little over 1,500 liters. So I am running in liters since we are doing the European thing. I figured while we're doing animals, since a lot of the animal menu stuff doesn't convert well for unit convert, we might as well just use liters here since we're in Europe and kind of live with that. And I'm glad I did. Everything seems to work out. We will not have to do any complicated math this series. And so we've got a little bit of feed in the bins. We've got a field knocked out for harvest here. Next episode, we're going to be taking a look at how to get our sheep moving and grooving here. We need to get some grass cut for them somewhere. And yeah, we'll keep an eye on these chickens. Hopefully, these are fairly easy to manage. They're not reproducing yet. It's going to take a little bit of time for that to kick into gear. But hopefully, with 40 total chickens, we're going to see some progress on that. We'll get some grass and some water moving next episode for the black sheep here. And yeah, we'll dive into some contracts and really get this series started. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have, give me a big thumbs up on that video. And in the comments below, let me know what you think of this series. Let me know what ideas you've got for as we progress. This is going to be a great series that we're going to use to fill in between the episodes of our more serious series on the channel. That's all for today. Kedrick out. One of the things I wanted to do in this series is stick as close to the in-game mods as possible. We're going to add a couple of mods here to allow us to do everything with our electric tractor, of course. The answer to where can I find that mod is always going to be the in-game mod hub. We are not going to use anything that is not available on the in-game mod hub, and we're going to try and stay away from gameplay changing mods as well. So I will not be using GPS or Courseplay or Auto Drive or any of those things that aren't available on console. We're picking up just a couple of mods that won't be available on console to improve the experience from a YouTube perspective. Things like HUD toggle and easy dev control so that I can fly around and record cool shots without the HUD on. Store deliveries just to help me get the farm set up to begin with. And additional game settings because that allows me to turn different things on and off like the cursor in the screen and whatnot. So, and better contracts because the biggest focus of the series is going to be knocking out contracts. And so I don't want to spend a lot of time necessarily doing contracts that are a little bit more painful. So we're going to make it easier on ourselves a little bit here and go for better contracts so that we can keep the flow of the show moving here. But other than that, every other mod here is a DLC that came with the game or is available both on console and PC. Next time, we'll take the other road, I'm thinking. Oh my goodness.